You're going to tape, Linda, already then? Okay. Okay, I'm going to call the public hearing on the Woodbridge Avenue east of Wanless. Public meeting to order at 6 o'clock on 10/5/2021. Ryan, please take the roll.
Councilor Matthew.
Here.
Councilor Marcus.
Here.
Councilor Carter.
Here.
Councilor Lehman.
Here.
Mayor Clarich.
Here. Ryan, do you want to just lead into this since we're...
Yep, so this is part of the state, the state statute requires an assessment hearing. As part of the assessment process, residents were mailed their second letter, which outlined what their assessment would be for this project. You can see it in your packets with the 8 or 9 properties there. I did not receive any communication from any of those residents and things like that. We kept the assessment, so basically 21% of the total project, which is comparable with what we did over on Woodbridge and Whiteside. So you see that those amounts, estimated cost of the project was about $60,500. I know there were some questions about kind of the turnaround area, which Engineer Jamnik in your packet too kind of put some drawings together, and maybe he could just explain that quickly, what the plan is for the end of that.
Yeah, the road is really a dead end. There's actually an alley, a platted alley down there, which is only 20 feet wide, so we stopped at that T intersection just short of that platted alley and kept the turnaround within the right-of-way that exists there. And, it's just a T, just so, I think the comments we got were people were pulling into some of the private driveways at the end of the road, so this would allow people to turn around still within the public street. Another option would be to build a big cul-de-sac, but those get pretty big just from, so this would be a suitable way to have a turnaround there.
Are we infringing on anybody's land with this?
It's all within the city right away.
That's perfect then.
We don't need.
And that's what they wanted. So they came to us.
Is that 60 feet sufficient to turn around a garbage truck? The plow truck, will he be able to get around in there?
Pull in to the left and back up
Yep.
and take off.
And that's enough room for them?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
60
And that's
feet.
like, the difference is, cul-de-sac, they want a truck, fire truck or garbage truck to
do the
just make
circle.
a circle.
Yeah,
Well, here you're gonna have
that'd be
to
huge.
drive in and back
Yeah.
out and then turn around. That's just one little extra maneuver, but it's not that.
It's such a low traffic area too, I think.
Yeah,
that's-
oh, yeah.
as long as
And if
we-
there's no school bus down there, but if there ever is, that'll be nice for them. I don't think any.
We don't need a curb down there. Both of the properties go like this.
Yeah. We don't have curb at the end.
Well, that's what I meant.
We just have it at, just so the wall, we'd be consistent. Because the curb ends, just like it's kind of shown there,
Yeah.
it's ends shorter on the north side than it does on the south side, so we just thought we'd just square it up with curb on both sides there.
Well, I'm just saying where the turnaround is, I don't think we need curb there, but,
We could take that out if you don't want it.
because even snow plowing and cleaning, you've got to push.
Yeah, you may not want curb on the two ends.
Yeah, let's take that off.
Okay, we can do
Just,
that.
yeah, just blacktop, yeah. Okay.
And we're blacktopping that area, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just eliminate the curb from where the,
That's nice. It keeps it clean
just
for
where
the
that
residents.
R equals 10 is, we won't put it on that section. We'll just, not around the radius.
Perfect.
Right. Yep.
What's that labeled saw cut there? Can you explain that?
Asking about the saw cut.
I'm sorry, what was that?
What's labeled saw cut towards the end of that street where we're doing that turnaround?
Oh, that's just where the existing blacktop ends. We just want them to saw cut and have a straight line, so when they put the new blacktop in, it matches to a straight line, it's just a saw cut, that's all. So they cut the existing blacktop straight.
Weren't they gonna mill that out of there?
Yeah, I thought we were milling all that old stuff out.
Yeah.
I always still like to have a straight edge when they pave and match into it.
But that rumble strip blacktop's not gonna stay there, that's coming out, right?
Yeah, most of it is, yeah. Yep.
So we're not milling all of it.
Hmm?
We're not milling up all of what's existing there?
Well, we're gonna take a lot of it out, but then we're gonna put a leveling course in first. You know, to blend it, make it level, and then put the final lift of blacktop on.
That doesn't require taking out what's there? I guess I don't understand.
Yeah, they're gonna put a course and then put a wear coat last, right?
Yeah, and the reason we're thinking about doing that now, because I don't know if the contractor, first of all, he's not even sure if he can get to the work this fall. You know, he doesn't have a milling machine coming to town. You know, it's middle of, 1st of October, so if it gets delayed till spring, it would be better if we actually reclaim it in the spring and do it, you know, it would be a better way of doing it. We're just trying to accommodate the lateness of the year here. And, you know, get it, you know, like some of the other streets, you know, we may not put the wear course like on Woodridge and Whiteside till next year anyway, so, you know, if this stays like it is over the winter months, you know.
I'll just be happy to get the first quote down. I just want to get the first.
Well, that's the thing, you know, they're getting squeezed for time here.
Yeah.
They don't really want to take on much more paving than they got right now, but we're working.
We have a lot to get done, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, basically, the bottom line lies is numbers don't change from now until
Yeah,
then
that's
because he
correct.
can't get it.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, if he's
actually,
gonna come back and do it with the same price,
Yeah.
I made an adjustment to when the cost estimate
you know,
that I anticipated. It might change a little bit, but that's,
hopefully
it
sticks.
might.
Do we talk about the cost of the addition of that turnaround?
Yeah, that wasn't that much more blacktop, so it's in the contingency that we had in the project.
Do you have a rough estimate of what that might be?
60.
60,500 we had.
But, and that includes the add-on of our turnaround.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there wasn't that much more
Okay.
blacktop. It was just putting the T's on the end, or, you know, the
Okay.
T part on
No,
the end.
not a problem. Just wanted to make sure Brandon got his question answered.
Thank you.
Well, any other discussion? Well, we vote on this later, so.
Yep, there'll be a resolution coming in the regular council meeting. Basically what that resolution does, it approves the assessment rules and directs us to submit them to St. Louis County. It also sets the interest rate for those who choose to pay for it over 10 years at 2%, which is the same as we did for Woodbridge and Whiteside.
Is there anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart, is there support?
Support.
Support by Brandon. Last call, further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion's carried, huh? We got a little seat time now. Okay. Ready? Okay, we're good. Okay, I'd like to call the Buhl City Council meeting of October 5th, 2021 to order. Ryan, please take the roll.
Councilor Matthew?
Here.
Councilor Marcus? Yep. Councilor Carter?
Here.
Councilor Lehman?
Here.
Mayor Claridge?
Here. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the public hearing on the Wellhead Protection Plan. I'd like to introduce Mike Strodman with Minnesota Rural Water, and he'll go through this with us real quickly here. So Michael, welcome, and if you want to sit and speak, that's fine. If you want to go to the podium, it's up to you. Wherever you're most comfortable.
Sure, yeah, whatever works best for you guys, since you can hear me.
Yeah.
But thank you, Mayor, and this is the amendment of your wellhead protection plan. As you know, we've had one for about 10 years, worked with John on the first one. and the Department of Health approves those, and they are good for 10 years. So in about year 8 is when we had to start amending it. And it began by the state of Minnesota doing the part 1 of the wellhead protection plan, letting us know where your water is coming from and what its vulnerabilities to contamination. And that information letting us know, it's mixed vulnerability, moderate and highly vulnerable. You also have a surface water contribution area. What is really neat about that is, right now a lot of it's vacant, but that all provides water and sheds water towards the city's wells that you guys utilize. Through that, we're also able to see the drinking water supply management area, and again, that is the area that we want to protect. And we had a public information meeting, and I explained this to you guys at that time, and that's how we kicked off the part 2. And with that, I assisted Trent and Ryan in developing and creating and writing that part 2. And again, how we take that information, where's your water coming from, what is its potential vulnerability to contamination, and how do we protect it? As you guys know, you've got a lot of money invested in your wells and your water system, and it's important that we can continue to keep it protected. We started off by kind of looking at, what is the overall purpose of wellhead protection? And again, since this amendment, we were able to utilize a lot of the information out of the original plan. And again, our focus is just to try to protect that source of drinking water. Through that, we developed objectives, how we're going to do that. We'll educate, we will, the public, we will, properly manage and inventory those potential contaminants. And items like that, which created our measures, the things that we're going to do to help us achieve that goal. And again, there's, creating educational materials. If we know of an unused well, we'll get it sealed. If we find a tank that's no longer being used, kind of like last time in the plan, there was one at the building across the street, I forget the name of it, but we were able to get a grant.
The old nursing home, yeah.
Yeah, the nursing home property. We were able to get a grant from the state and get that tank removed too. So just looking at ways of how we can continue to protect the drinking water. In here also, there's a lot of background information of how we of the data elements and kind of the pieces of the puzzle, additional pieces of the puzzle to help build the entire plan. But what I like to say is kind of the nuts and the bolts are is where's your water coming from, how are we going to protect it, and what things can we work on yearly to do that. And what resources do we have out there? We can work with the county, we can work with the state of Minnesota, the DNR, the Source Water Protection Unit, and well management, and also utilize some grants from them, like we did last time, to continue to protect your drinking water. In the executive summary, just kind of a to-do list, and in there you can see the years that we're going to do these items. Just kind of a table format. So these are all the activities that we're going to do over the next 10 years. And as I mentioned, one of the things that I was able to do was to help and provide assistance in getting the plan created for submittal and approval to the state. I'll also, like in the original plan, be able to continue to assist the city in the implementation of the plan. So when it's creating fact sheets or brochures or applying for grants, and that I can assist the city with that. And some of these things, that we talked about, I talked before about managing potential contaminants. So if we have opportunities there, we can get grant dollars. But some of the other things too is, that we kind of thought about. And one thing with the grants program is we have to think about it and have it in this table format. But bigger than that, we have to think about this has to be related to or be able to tie it towards the protection of drinking water. We say, we're talking about wells. Can we get a lawnmower to mow around the wells? No, we got to think about protecting that source of drinking water. But some of the things that we have seen work in the grants program is like integrating SCADA. Another one is generators. So in addition to protecting your source of water, we need to make sure we continue to provide your residents with a source of drinking water. And again, these are thoughts and ideas, not items that we, per se have to do. But if the opportunity arises, and the other tricky part of this is to remember that this is a 10-year plan, so So we have to think about it today, even though we may not need it or utilize it sometime for down the road, but
Well, as I look at this,
yeah.
it's only that one area where you have to check it every year, and that's that inner wellhead management zone. After that, it's just kind of piecemeal, hit and miss, and, you know, a couple things this year, couple things the next year, on and on. So it's not like it's something, boy, it's going to be real busy this year or that year. So I like how it's scheduled over the 10 years, so it looks good.
Yeah, thank you for noticing that, because that is one thing we thought about too, is how do we keep this manageable, you know, for the city staff? Because I'm sure in any of their job descriptions, you're not gonna see wellhead protection. You know, it's kind of falls under that other duties as assigned, so, anyway. But yeah, how can we bite this off just a piece at a time? We know that there is quite a laundry list, but to think that we have 10 years, so can we do 2 or 3 items every year and get through them?
Does the state ever do an audit of a facility or a community? Okay.
They do. One thing that's neat there is there's a couple items where that'll trigger kind of an audit. They have a 50-50. Either everybody's name goes into a hat and they just pull them. But then they also have a couple things like has the city completed an evaluation? You know, have they applied for a grant? Have they just kind of some feelers to see if they've heard from the city? So one thing that I always do, I always reach out at least once or twice a year, and we go over that stuff. And that kind of makes their checklist, so it helps keep you down on the audit list, but there is one. One thing that's neat there is we keep good records throughout the process, and any time that there has been a community that's been audited that I work with, all the paperwork is right there and easy to go and get it submitted to them, so we're set there. Yep. No, great questions.
Okay.
Otherwise, as you mentioned, it's a public hearing. I'd be happy to answer any additional questions that you guys have, or the public may have. I've provided Ryan with the papers just to send to the state, just a simple letter that says that we're asking for your approval. Give them documentation that we had this public hearing tonight. I will be able to email that plan to them, so I can get that plan into their database. And then they have 90 days to review and approve that, along with some other state agencies, get the first 60 days. The state of Minnesota has already done a preliminary review, and they had us look at and think about, consider a couple other things, very minor. So I don't foresee any issues getting it approved. That is all I have.
Okay, well, any questions from the councilors? Ryan, anything else we have to know?
No, just after the questions, the council can make a motion to.
I have a couple of questions. What is is our water source at risk of anything?
Right, no, good question. So yeah, if you look at this map, you can kind of see that the groundwater flow is coming from this direction.
I don't know if I have
Look at
that.
this could be a different one, sorry.
We've got that last page, but
It's the
that's,
same view.
it's kinda, but it's not lit up like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the
Okay.
water's kind of coming in this way. So one thing that, to always think about is what sources of contamination or land uses could contribute water that were potentially affected or contaminated into this area that could get into your groundwater. When we did a potential contaminant source inventory, we inventoried tanks and wells, septics in certain areas, and we looked at all those items, and really the only thing that there was there's leaky underground storage tank sites, old ones, at a couple places that were kind of more down in this area here, and 2 of them are still kind of being monitored by the PCA, and the other one was closed. So
Okay.
other than that, no, they're in pretty good shape.
What about, there's mention of unused wells. Obviously contaminants can get down that, and we want to cap those, correct?
Yeah, we did that.
Well, my question is, what about these mining companies? Are they drilling within an area that could affect, or old drill sites? Are we at risk of contamination from something like that?
Sure.
Because they do a lot of drilling. If you look up the county's well database,
Well index, yep.
there is all kinds of holes up here.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
curious if those can affect our water source.
It does look like Swiss cheese. you're
It does,
right.
yes. Yeah.
And if there were So correct, being it's a boring through all that geologic makeup.
Yeah.
If there was, a bulk storage tank site up in that area, and something happened to a tank, all the liquid moved across the soils, instead of having to go through those soils, it could go through those borings. Because, and don't quote me, but I do not believe that they are responsible for sealing those.
Yeah.
The drill and leave them. So that could. What's nicer,
How about natural contamination? Can just having a bore without like some outside source of, toxic material or something, can that contaminate the groundwater? Just having an open hole? Or is that something?
there's none that I can really think of.
Okay. So it would just be like man-made contaminants. Okay.
Correct, and for wetland protection, that's mainly what we're chasing, are man-made contaminants, petroleum, nitrates,
Gotcha.
yep,
Okay.
those types.
When will we have to start worrying about if mining gets too close to our?
Yeah, that was the other
Area.
question I had, because
And then what would happen in the future, it's probably going to happen, but if they de-water that pit over here, or one of these other pits around here?
Sure.
Because water is a premium right now for some of these companies.
I actually did an article for our newsletter, just on your neighbor in Kinney, and Bill kept pretty neat records about static water level and pumping water levels, and he saw some very drastic changes in certain years. And
That was making me think about that, because that mining is getting very close to Kinney.
yeah, so as they moved across, they were able to notice and tell, they were able to time lapse it to show that when they started dewatering a lot, it really caused an issue with the pumping water levels in as well. And so they set up a contingency plan working with the mining company and their engineer to stop dewatering and mining in a certain area. And again, don't quote me, I'm just gonna broad brush it. And that brought his levels back up. So if they dewater, or the deeper you go, that can have an influence.
how deep is their well compared to ours?
They're half as deep.
Okay.
I don't think Kenny's is maybe 280 feet. Ours is 600 feet.
If I was gonna throw out a number, I was gonna say 450
Oh. Our water comes in at about 550.
at 550.
Yeah, we had a camera down there. So,
Okay.
See, that's a mid.
you can see it coming in, in the granite down there.
Sure, through the fissures?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right here.
I mean, that's where it comes in. And we've had drawdowns. We've run our pumps 24 hours or whatever. And it never drops below, I don't know if it was 60 feet or 120 feet.
Okay.
I mean, when it run, if you're just running the wells out there, it'll go down to like 120 feet, but it doesn't go below that. I mean, our source of water is
Yeah,
wherever it's coming from is.
one thing I would recommend, if you guys measure that and check your static pumping water level on an annual basis or on a weekly or monthly, whatever it is, just to keep record, starting, if you have it, continue to work.
Well, you have to go into the well, and we don't do that.
Okay. Yeah, and then sometimes you can get equipment, they can put transducers right in the wells and keep those records.
And then the other thing is, you got Chisholm, Hibbing, Virginia, Mountain Iron. Our water is hard, but it's like 200. I mean, hardness. Everybody around us, and they say we're all in the same aquifer. Well, we're not. They're at over 600, as far as hardness, and every surrounding area, but our water isn't as hard as, it's hard, but it's not as hard.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there was, when they do move to the west, and you start seeing an issue, or there becomes an issue, there have been remedies that the mining companies have done for the communities.
Now, that's a big aquifer we're tapped into down there. Is there risk of contamination from a farther distance away than what we're talking about here, just because it may be a bigger aquifer down there? I don't really know the geological aspect of it, but
Yeah, I don't know if I could technically answer that appropriately, but when you look at this, and this is kind of, yours would be just I guess it almost looks like a stingray. That farthest point out here, this is a 10-year time of travel. That's how long it takes a water molecule to travel 10 years.
So if it hits the ground from rain in that area to get to our water source, are you saying?
That would actually be once it's in the aquifer.
Oh,
Yeah, not the vertical movement through the soil.
Okay.
But once it's in the aquifer, how long does it take to move over?
10 years to move from there, okay.
Yep.
Well, you gotta remember 50 years ago that Lake Buhl was dry. And back in the heyday, we had steam heat. We pumped 250,000 gallons a day
Out of that well?
out of that well.
Wow.
And now we pump 70.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, it handled the town when we were pumping 250,000 gallons.
That's amazing.
So, the source is there.
That's awesome.
But,
That's why we market it.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, anything else from the, very good presentation, great questions,
Yeah.
gang, so, I mean, good knowledge, John, you've got a handle on this, and I thank you, all your years of service here, you know this stuff, so.
You said you had a couple wells that were contaminated that you know of, or before you asked this question, you had one, I think you said one.
Those were tanks, weren't they?
No, I don't know what he was talking about.
Or one that was capped?
No, it was. You guys are monitoring one. I forget my question.
Oh, yes, the tanks, though, I thought those were,
I thought it was.
the PCA's monitoring one of the tanks?
Oh, sorry, the leaky underground storage tank sites?
Yeah.
Yeah, where there were gas stations? Yeah, the PCA will put monitoring wells around those and monitor that site to look for if that plume is moving or not. Usually, they do a great job for keeping tabs on those.
How long do those have to be monitored?
Until, and again, don't quote me, but I believe until they close the site. So when they do a determination that it's not moving or whatever,
Yeah,
that there's no concern.
gotcha.
It may not be the best term either, but then they'll close the site.
Okay.
And it can, sometimes they'll stay open for many, many years.
Okay, that answers you, Stuart? Okay, nothing else? We do have action on this. Is there a motion to approve the wellhead protection and submit it to the state for review and approval?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart, is there support?
Support.
Support by John. Further comments or concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
It's been great
Thanks,
working
Mike.
with you, and we'll continue to keep, when we have an issue, we'll call you.
Sounds good.
Or Trent, well, or Ryan. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll continue on. In the meeting 4, reports from department heads.
Just a quick note that the city will give its presentation tomorrow night to the house bonding committee over at the college in Virginia for the water tower. So I'll be giving that along with engineer Jamnik will be over there, and
We're also opening bids for the fire hall.
fire hall bids will be open on Thursday at 2 o'clock.
Here,
at City Hall. So.
Okay, we'll move on. Council additions to the agenda. I think the agenda looks good as is. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as is?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart, is there support?
Support.
Support by Jean. Further comment or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Citizens Forum, I don't think we have anybody, so we'll move on from that. 7, consent agenda. 7A, the minutes, the regular city council meeting of September 21st, 2021. 7B, claims, payroll number 20, $13,298.89. Payroll, September, $2,350 even. And then accounts payable, $46,054.73 for a grand total of $61,703.62. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the 21st of September on 2021 and approve the 61,000?
Yeah, add that.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, missed that. What are we adding here?
$894.
At $894 for Chisholm Tire, Jill Flaws for cleaning, 4 tires for Chisholm Tire, and then volunteer firefighters insurance renewal for a grand total of $894. So $61,703.62 plus $894. Is there a motion?
I so move that
Say bullshit.
approve the minutes of September 21st and the claims of $62,597.62.
Is there support?
Support.
Support by Gene. Further comments or question? Any concerns about the bills or anything? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Okay, now we'll get into the business portion. Finally. 8A, Habitat for Humanity proposal. Well, welcome, and we'll just continue our little discussion. And I thank you, and is there anything you want to highlight, or? We've had some previous discussions, so.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Nathan, so we'll make it work.
We are certainly happy to be entertaining the possibility of partnering with the city of Buhl. We would like to build a couple of homes in the city of Buhl, and so we're requesting 2 lots for that purpose. Habitat for Humanity is an affordable housing organization, and we work with families who are of lower income, have a demonstrated need for affordable housing, and have a ability to pay our low-income mortgage, or low 0% interest mortgage. And then the third thing that we look at for partner families is a family being willing to partner with us, because we choose a family and they work right alongside Habitat and community volunteers to build their house. And so we're looking for families who are willing to do those things. At the end of the day, when the house is done, we sell it affordably to the family, and Habitat for Humanity becomes the bank. So those funds come right back to us here in North St. Louis County Habitat for Humanity, and we're able to reinvest them to build more homes in our local communities. We've had the blessing as a Habitat organization to grow to the capacity to build pretty steadily, about 5 homes a year. And the fact that we have homeowners that we've partnered with paying their payments, their mortgage payments, is a big part of our success and our ability to build more homes. The fact that we have really good support from our area cities and county is also a testament to our success as well as the community at large, with people writing a check to help fund what we do at Habitat, and people volunteering to come build on one of our houses. So we certainly are here tonight to request the possibility and the consideration of having a couple lots donated so we can continue our mission here in Buhl.
I do have one question. So you have a natural screening process in place before you grant a home to one of these people to make sure that, number one, you're going to get the sweat equity, that they're going to be able to make the payment, that things, I mean, so you kind of have a semi-screening process that,
Yes.
that might weed out, you want to make sure that they're successful with this project,
Right.
as well as, that's a feather in your hat, another feather, because you're well known for running a great program.
Yes, so we have a family selection committee that vets each one of our applicants. We're held to the same standards that banks are on, verifying families' incomes and their ability to pay, because we have to, when we select them and provide a mortgage, we have to be confident that they are going to be successful to be able to pay that. The other part of our program too is after they've been selected and vetted, Mayor, we have a monthly partner family meeting where we have a chance over the period of, from the time we select them until they move into their house, where we have a monthly meeting, we do homeowner education, everything from someone from the Humane Society to come in and talk about what's a good pet to have in a small house, to the fire chief coming over and talking about the fire safety, topics on how to be a good neighbor, how to budget, all of those things we work with our families to cover. So, and by the time we close on the house and become the bank, we have a really great relationship with that family. So if they ever experience any financial difficulties, they come and we work with them to make sure that they can be successful and stay in the house.
What happens if they default on the agreement?
Like any other bank, we have our standards as well, and so I often tell our candidates and our partner families, if you don't pay, you don't stay. So, because we have a responsibility and we've entered into a partnership with them. So like a bank, we have our 30, 60, and 90 notices, and then we will proceed to foreclosure. But we've worked really hard to get those families into a house, and they have worked really hard too. So the way I would put it is the family has to try really hard to default on their mortgage.
What kind of turnaround? Do you have a rate on that? I mean, do you see that?
So we have selected our 109th family to serve, and I have had 3. Either foreclosure or deed in lieu of foreclosure.
Nice.
That's pretty good return. A lot of banks are jealous.
Yeah. And so like I said, because we are the bank, we can, if someone loses their job, we tell them the first thing you do is come talk to us, because we can work with you and make sure you're not going to lose your house. Wait till you get your income back up and help you catch up. But like any other bank, if someone's just not going to talk to you and not going to make their payments, then we have our responsibility to the community and to our investors to do that. But so just the mortgage payments alone are helping us build 2 of the 5 houses that we built each year.
Have you had any problem as far as damage when you had to do foreclosure and stuff? Have they left it in bad shape, the house?
On the foreclosure side, with the 3 homes that we've had, we had one home that had required a little bit more fixing up than the others. The other 2 really, it was, the way I'll put it, Counselor Matthew, is by the time we got to that point with those 3 families, it wasn't a surprise to them or to us, and it was kind of like, yes, this isn't working. And they moved on to other forms of housing because home ownership wasn't working for them at that point. But yeah, our homeowners overall generally take good care of their properties and do things to improve them.
Well, we have ordinances like blight and things like that we'd let them know through our police department.
That's the interesting part. So like if I didn't mow my grass, one of my neighbors wouldn't call US Bank and tell them Nathan's not mowing his grass. We do become the bank on these homes, and we understand if a community member calls us, we'll mention it. But we encourage people. Sometimes we've all been there where we went on vacation and then we got behind or the lawnmower broke down and we just needed a little extra encouragement, and a blight letter tends to do that. So, if a family needs a little extra encouragement, that's what you do in a community. You all look out for each other, and
If it's their first new home, they might,
yeah.
We'll nudge them along into
Sometimes
good home
I've had
ownership.
good neighbors just be like, "Hey, I mowed my grass. It's your turn." But that's rare that happens.
How many years has Habitat housing been here?
So we started North St. Louis County Habitat Incorporated in 1995 and built their first home with all volunteers in 96. And from 96 to 2002, an all-volunteer organization with no staff built 11 homes. So the president would check the mail and open it up and give it to the treasurer to pay, and, you know, another board member had the phone ring at their house. And I had the privilege to become their first employee in 2003. Since then, we've continued to build and got to a capacity of 5 a year. And you know, for a lot of our communities, it's one of the affordable home options that are out there. So it's definitely something that works. I hope our reputation is such that people see that and would trust us with their need for housing and apply.
Nathan, did you personally view where these two lots are?
Yes.
Okay, so you're familiar with them, okay.
We've taken a look at them with Ryan, and we feel like it'd be a really nice place to build a home, and a Habitat home would fit good in that neighborhood.
Okay, further comments or questions?
I have a few
Okay.
questions. For the other homes being built on lots in town, what type of contingencies does the city have for those? Do we have a minimum bedrooms, are we putting,
Yeah, I mean, those certain districts have like the certain size single-family home requirement. I mean, the lots in this area, I mean, we have, you know, our standard ordinances and things like that. I mean, there's no stipulations that the city necessarily has on those lots that we're looking to donate to them. You know, I don't know if you can maybe touch on what, you know, just kind of the general basic or what types of homes you build might better answer.
So we build a 1,100 square foot, 3-bedroom home. It's all on one level. 412 pitch roof, has a little bit of a porch, not enclosed, in the front. You know, kind of very nice with the sense of, what do you call it, Louisiana Pacific smart siding on it. I think we've worked over the years to add and have good curb appeal. We do provide the homeowners with a 8x10 garden shed to put things like bikes and lawnmowers in. The homes don't come with a garage, but we place them on the lot so that a future garage can be built as the homeowners' lives and finances improve over the years. And they're putting in sweat equity building our house, so we've had several homeowners, like, they have the technology to do that, a lot of them do.
are those lots sized to fit an 1,100 square foot home and a garage on them?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the only other question I have is, one of those lots adjoins private property, somebody in town owns. Is in past practice of the city to offer a lot to the adjoining property prior to anybody else getting it?
I mean, if that lot had no use for the city or something couldn't be built on it, I mean, in this case, I don't see the private property owners there building an 1,100 square foot home that's gonna get tax base for the city plus another utility customer. I mean, that's just my feeling, but I mean, yes, past practice, but.
Usually your situation is a house, and an empty lot between them. Then it goes to, just like you said.
Yeah.
But when there's 3 lots there, there's more than 2, there's probably 3, you know.
I'm just curious, usually any lots going anywhere from city possession has been offered to the owners of adjoining property.
Well, not, like I said, it usually if it's a lot between houses.
Yeah, or we've sold property, you know.
But not, I mean, that's just open lot.
Yeah,
And they come asking.
Yeah, I mean, I think the past practice was mainly associated with non-buildable lots, where these are ready to build, then we're looking at, the prospect of 2 homes being built on them.
We have I think I'm looking at appraisals this year coming in somewhere between 130, 140,000 for the properties after we finish.
It's a nice valuation.
Yeah.
Well, after listening to what you put into them, yes. That in-floor heat, that's big in the, pushing smart siding again, so that's
When would you start building this summer?
I am hoping and planning to start at least one of them in this next building season, so next summer. And the reason why I'm asking for the other lot is because I'm always, if I can build 2 houses at the same time, it's just so much more efficient. So we're going to seriously look into being able to do that.
And back to the contingency thing, are we gonna hold them to putting a home on these lots in a X amount of time? Is that something?
Yeah, I think with the donation, I think that's the intent on both sides, is that's why they're not gonna ask for these lots if they're not gonna build on them. If it's something happened where one house was only gonna be built and, there was no prospects coming up, I think the city would sit down with Habitat and, it would be gifted back to the city, or,
We're looking to build.
Other ones have 18 months or 24 months.
Yeah.
If something doesn't happen, actually just reverts back to the city.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Yeah, that's just kind of automatic, what we have now.
Is that what's on those lots, Ryan, is 18 months?
it's 2 years.
So 24 months and then it automatically, okay.
Yep.
Okay, last call for questions, or we're gonna take a vote.
I would still like to see plans, personally.
Well, it's custom built to meet the family's needs. We know that it's what the footage is gonna be, we know what the foundation is gonna be, we know what the insulation is gonna be, we know what the roof and everything is.
Nathan has 4 sets of plans. Just send them to City Hall and we can look at them.
And he'd be sending his plans with getting building permit too, probably, wouldn't you?
He has four plans that they use.
Okay.
We can.
We shouldn't look at those
Look
before
at
we
that.
make a decision, or no?
Well,
No.
to get them in a 2-year cycle, I would talk like April of 2022. Otherwise you're just sitting on that lot for half a year.
Well, for my purposes, the sooner the better as far as, to have ownership of the lot. I do things like order appraisals, and it gives me, I don't let a family know, hey, look, this is where we're gonna build your house until we have ink on the paper, just because you just never know. So for planning purposes, it's helpful to have it sooner rather than later, but of course, we can provide any information that you guys may need, for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna ask for a motion to donate parcels 115-0010-00320 and 115-0010-0029 to Habitat for Humanity. These parcels are located on the east side of State Street, north of Billy's. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stewart. Is there support?
Support.
Okay, motion and support. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
4-1. Okay. Motion carried. Okay.
And also, Mayor, I'd be happy if you guys want to set up another meeting, or if anybody wants to come, I can even have you tour some of our houses that we haven't closed yet. Happy to answer any questions. So.
Okay. Well, if we could get those 4 floor plans so we have them on board, then Brandon can come and see them if he's got concerns, so.
Well, I'd just like to see what's going on the lot before I make a decision.
Okay, thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
And I'll
Thank
see you this January when you're coming back to the
Yes, for the CDBG.
development, community block grant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, we'll be in touch.
Oh, construction in progress update. John, you're up.
Yeah, just update, they're working on underground work in the alley on the lower side of Woodridge over there. About another, should finish all the underground work by the end of the week here, so that's, and then they're scheduled to put concrete next week still. Maybe later this week. They got a little delayed with some of the weather issues where they've also been working and paving to follow, so. And I think what we're gonna plan on doing is just finish the wear course on everything north of Pennsylvania, like on stage, where, I mean, the second lift of bituminous, then we're done, but streets we're working on since midsummer and in fall, we'll just put the base course on and come back in the spring and do the wear course. Get it all done by like June 15th of next year, so. Just because there's some underground work and this
I have no problem with
pretty
that.
good. I mean, we just keep running into all these steam lines and steam manholes that, we're properly addressing, getting abatement people in town, but, it's just been in the way for a long time. And
I want to tell you, what's the water tank street up there that we have to put asphalt down on yet? What's
France,
that's what it's called, France location.
yeah,
That will get a wear coat, right?
base course.
Or base course,
Yeah.
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 Okay, because that's a priority for me anyway,
Yeah.
and then, so, boy, it sure looks like they've got messes in those alleys yet, but that one's getting cleaned up behind Woodbridge, I think. That other one that's by Whiteside, boy, that sure is wet in there. I'll tell you, they're working hard in there.
It's tough,
So,
that's.
so best case scenario is we'll get this, we looked at it, the weather forecast a little bit ahead. I think we're okay, so cement next week, no later than next week, we almost have to say, and then asphalt the week after.
That's the schedule, yeah.
Okay, South, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with holding off on that wear course on the blacktop, that's really gonna be a benefit to us, because if there's any settling, when they come and do the wear coat, they can,
Straighten that out.
yeah. So that's really gonna be a great thing over the winter, especially with new stuff.
South Memorial, is that, where are we at that South Memorial, just that little short chunk? Because it sure is a mess. It's almost impossible for them to come from the highway and then turn left, because there's debris and stuff hanging out there right to
I
the
noticed that
edge
too.
there.
I wasn't sure why they had that
Okay.
pile of dirt there, but I'll call Billy and ask him.
And I haven't had complaints, but I'm just noticing because I slowed down to go over that little hump, which is very manageable now. But I'm looking, those poor people, you can't come from that and then turn left. It's a pretty tight.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing, so
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what was going on there, but I'll find out what the.
Where we have Roberts, the alley and the street, how's that? I don't dare drive down there. So
Well, yeah, that's actually, we just got some information from Casper. The USDA has been not approving the change order because they want a lot more detailed information.
Okay.
So I got all of that, I think like last Friday from Casper, and we're gonna send that over to them tomorrow. And a representative from USDA is gonna be up next Tuesday to do an inspection, but I'm anticipating getting this alley thing approved. They actually did most of the water line in the alley. And then all we have to do is we gotta get approval to remove like the south 110 feet of the steam line, and then we'll be able to finish the water line. But we kept the water kind of on the west side of the alley.
okay.
So we don't have to dig out the entire steam line like we originally were anticipating the cost were gonna be, so.
Well, all I'm going to say, John, is let's put it this way. Casper doesn't have to worry about it, but if we don't have this thing done or pretty much good before winter, before the snow flies, we're going to have to hold this meeting down at the senior center. And they're going to be looking at you, because I'm going to be pointing at you.
We're not, I don't know.
So we're gonna have blacktop on everything before the snow flies, correct?
Yeah.
Well, that's the plan, unless no,
Yeah.
but it looks good for the next couple, 3 weeks as far as temperatures anyway.
John, you got a few patches on the north side here to do yet though, right? Like on that,
Grant Street's got one.
yeah. We got one there, it's
By
about 10
Senior
by 10.
Center and-
Yeah, senior center.
Yeah, there's some patches, yeah, there's Grant Location Road, everything.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Put the wear coat down.
How is that? I don't know anything about that. If we just have the base coat down and we're running our snow plows around, are we gonna be banging up our curbs and wrecking shop all winter until springtime and then?
Well, you watch for that stuff. I mean, you try to get put the blade. It's on your first couple of snowfalls. You can get the blade in the curb,
Yeah,
and then you're building up that snow between where the wear coat.
So you have a
would go.
buffer.
there you get that pack.
Yeah, you pack it.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's up to you got to watch for it.
Yeah,
But we've done that before too, and you let the weather, the nature make its own ramp or,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it just sounds like, John, at the next meeting, we should have at least that cement in, and we might have some asphalt down, so. There's not a shortage of asphalt, is there? Yeah. I mean, the way it's going, so. Okay, this was information only. Last call for any questions of John? Thank you, John, you've answered everything that we want.
Thank you.
Okay, the next on our agenda is Resolution 2151 is a motion to approve Resolution 21-51. This resolution adopts assessment rules for the Woodbridge Avenue east of the Wanless project. The resolution also establishes the interest rate of 2%, which is the same rate as the previous assessment. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 21-51?
Motion.
Is there support?
I'll support.
Support Stewart. Further comment or question? Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Matthew.
Yes.
Counselor Marcus.
Yep.
Counselor Carter.
Yes.
Counselor Lehman.
Yes.
Mayor Claridge.
Yes. Resolution approved. Okay. Next is the Halloween decorating contest. The Recreation Board is recommending approval of funds for a Halloween decorating contest. Motion to approve $100 from the rec budget for the contest.
Motion.
Okay, motion by Brandon. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Gene. It's pretty self-explanatory. I see that they'll have it advertised and get the information out there. Any further comment or discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. Okay, next we'll go on to councillor comments. Stuart, you're up.
I have nothing.
Brandon.
Nothing right now.
Okay.
It seems our rec board is taking off and it's gonna be really good for the community. I'm excited. We got a bunch of good people on there.
Not having one really hurt us, but
Yeah.
we tried getting one, but I'm so glad these people stepped up.
Yep.
And then they're trying to make a difference and they're doing things. So
Yep.
that's good for the kids, good for the citizens.
It's gonna be good.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
can I make a comment in my council,
On your what?
in my comments for council here? I just wanted to,
Well, Brandon, are you done?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, we'll go back to Stuart.
if that's okay with the rest of them. I just wanted to let everybody know about the monthly law enforcement activities. I had 13 medical calls, a lot of single one calls, 3.96 hours a day that they're in town average, so anybody's interested.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, Stuart, that it? Okay. Gene,
Nothing.
John,
Well, I went to Park Design and talked to Bill over there about our entrance signs that Brandon had brought up, and it was brought up before, but he brought it up at the council meeting. He's gonna give us a bid. What they do is actually put that sign like on
It's like a steel.
like an
aluminum.
1/8-inch aluminum sheet. It'll last forever, it'll last a long time. And basically, what's up there now is just gonna be the backboard. So he'll paint that in Chisholm, and with the same design, you know, same colors, same everything. But then we bring it over here and he mounts it on a board,
So that could even be done in winter.
yeah, that can be done right in the shop.
What kind of shape are those boards and stuff in the
Oh,
supports?
that's in good shape. I mean, they're not, yeah.
Is it a paint that goes on there, or is it like a vinyl wrap?
I think it's like a screen print, I think it's like the vinyl wrap.
Okay, gotcha.
He said that's, well, that sounded great to me, because
Well,
otherwise,
I
you
wanna
gotta
see what the
clean them
cost
or
is.
take them down or use the bucket truck to paint them or whatever.
Yeah.
And when he told me about this design, I said, yeah. So he was gonna put some numbers together for.
It'd be nice to get it for the next council meeting.
Well,
and,
we can do that.
well, so we can
Yeah.
kind of just say, here's what we think it's gonna cost. And then,
And,
actually, the BETA, is this a BETA expenditure?
Yeah,
So it doesn't
BETA
come before us, okay.
Well,
That
BETA
sign
BETA
is-
did authorize 2,500 towards it, yeah, we have to wait.
I don't think that's gonna cover it for hearing that, because
That's-
we're talking both signs.
Yeah.
Both entrances,
And that sign is 10 by 24. You know,
okay.
10.
2,400 square
And
feet.
the plan is to go with the same image, same wording,
yeah.
same everything?
Yeah. You may have even, you know, I hadn't told him that, but on the bottom it had call City Hall at a so-and-so number. You could even incorporate that on the bottom of that sign. You know, you wouldn't have to even worry about that, so that would all be in there.
I don't remember, John, did they have lights on them?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Down below, they shine up, don't they?
Well, no, they're up on top.
Oh, they're on top, I know that somehow something shines onto there. Okay.
Anyhow, I went to see Bill and I took pictures and I measured for him and he's working on it.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
No mayor's comments, so is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stewart, is there support? Support by Claridge. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, same sign. Motion carried, meeting adjourned at 7:20.
Tomorrow.